Alright, hey guys, this is Turok, and in this video today I'll be reviewing chapter 1140 of One Piece. I'm recording this about a week behind. No, well, it just came out officially on Sunday. Now I got the official one. I've been postponing this because I was not feeling like I could really talk much this past 2 weeks. I was sick since about Valentine's Day, yeah, which was like 2 weeks ago. I'm still coughing a bit here. And Jesus, this is gonna be tricky. And yes, I'm finally gonna get around to this. Hopefully today. Hopefully I can talk through this. Uh, I'm really excited to review this one because this brings up some. Saw some action in the last one, and we got. I hate to be behind whenever most everyone else gets their videos out in a few days after this comes out. I used to, but like I'm trying to do my own drawings and thumbnails and stuff for this to make it mine unique. It gets kind of help me stand out, in this space of One Piece where everyone else is got stuff like that going on. And so anyways, in the last chapter we saw the Gaban met the Scopper Gaban met Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and the Rotos with them, and he introduced himself, and we saw he's basically an older version of Sanji. Although they keep saying that, like, my one, maybe I'm misunderstanding something here, but if Gaban is is he still kind of like having himself like he's considered a free to date someone else. I know he didn't officially marry Ripley, but they had a child together, and I feel like he's just kind of like hanging out around there because he's like, I don't know. He's like he. It seems like he's just a wandering hermit now, and like he's. I don't know. I feel a little upset with him because I'm like, shouldn't he be kind of being still acting like a father to what's his name, Cody or Kobe, his son, even though his son's gonna obviously never grow up before he's gonna Scopper's probably gonna pass away before Cody ever reaches wait, is that his name? He reaches his adulthood, unless he finds a way to live as long the way Dr. Hareha does. Shoot, what's his name? Let me go back here a second. It's Colin, not Cody or Kobe. Kobe, right? Kobe is Luffy's friend, the captain. We have Kobe from the Marines, but I was thinking of Cody, but it looks like it's Colin. Let me get back here a second. So in the last chapter too, while the Straw Hats were still looking for the key, this was like a quicker chapter. At the same time, we had the other giant providing a story about Gaban's Scopper's. I'm gonna say Scopper. I like saying that better. He his some exploits where him and Roger were. The first they tell him like tell Usopp and the others Scopper was part of Roger's crew, and they tell us one story where they were Scopper and Roger were at a hospital. And Roger was not feeling well and had to be hospitalized for a while. And some other enemies of theirs found out where Roger and Scopper were, and we don't know if anyone else was there as far as the Rogers crew. But Scopper went down himself and took out all these guys himself. They made it sound like there must have been a good number of them, and in all the fighting, Scopper had basically deforested the entire mountainside that this battle between him and their enemies took place upon. So we get this thing, we're getting a feeling like this guy is truly still, you know, uh, uh, easily at the level of being, being back then, especially being Rogers' left hand man, the right hand man being his first mate. So this is like second mate, just like Sanji's unofficially like the second mate, even though he never really does any of that decision making, does it? He strictly stays at he's and fighting wise, Sanji's there, but when it comes to people taking charge, it's really like Nami and now Usopp probably helps a bit, like Nami, Jinbei, and Frankie, because they're the ones that know how to handle the seafaring stuff. Or Frankie's obviously more of a shipwright, but so he has to take care of the ship. And then now we got Jinbei there as the official, not navigator. He's the what do you call it? Because he's piloting the ship. I'm gonna call it right now. And Luffy's just the core of this whole the crew because it's his goal, and these others have their goal, and they're working together because they're friends. But uh, it was back to Sanji. He doesn't. He's his core skill too is he's a cook, so he keeps the crew healthy. He finds the best foods, makes sure they have the right round, probably rationing of that food too. Traveling between islands because it could take days or weeks maybe to get to some of those places. Uh, that was something I was talking about before. Still, like how it going over. We keep talking about the 2 year time skip, and I keep thinking it must have been way over 2 years ago where the story started now, because they were always traveling. I think the only one I can remember off the top of my head, and I've brought it up before, was that between Drum Island and Alabasta was about a 5 day trip, and I remember they had some humorous part there in the story that Oda put in where I think they didn't have enough supplies there, and then or like everyone got hungry. It was like Usopp and Luffy and was it Chopper and I think those three especially had gotten too hungry and they ate too much of the food that was supposed to be rationed as I was speaking, and Sanji beat the hell out of him for that. And then and Chopper obviously is important too because if the hit between him and Sanji like they keep the crew healthy and stuff. Anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent on that. Scopper here is the left hand of Roger's crew, meaning he's even though he's we I don't think they gave him an exact age though, but you can tell he's probably in his 60s or more. Well, let's see, Rayleigh's in his late 70s, right? I think Garp's older than Rayleigh, and Rayleigh was a little older than Whitebeard. Scopper's somewhere in his 60s to 70s probably. I mean, you see, he's still got it. Anyways, so he helps the Straw Hats find where the key would be for Loki. But then he puts up a test for them because he wants to make sure. Because even though he's living here and he's kind of like I say, he's kind of like a hermit, but he's there and he wants to make sure Alvath is protected. This has become his home. Like we have no idea where he came from. I think beforehand, but he uh seems to have taken this. This is his home now because he's set up a family there, and the Giants have accepted him. This Giant seems very accepting in general, but also because that's a separate thing where like they don't. We learned they don't get to see many outsiders. Only a small part of the population ever go out to sea, and that always seemed to be for pillaging and pirating. Before Harold had tried to stop that, and another like almost extremely insular, I think might be the right word at this point. So when they saw like Brooke and Jinbei, they're like, "Wow, we never seen people like you before," and stuff like that. And anyways, Gabon is there now, part of their citizenry. And we saw something that too, where Lilith said, "Oh, we can. I'm gonna apply for our citizenship here," and so they do have some official stuff, or she's assuming they do, I guess. And um, I'm sure that won't be hard for her either way because Saul will vouch for her if he once he realizes, hey, this is a Vegapunk theirs, and I knew the original Vegapunk, which we also I want to find out what happens with that Vegapunk clone. Hold on a sec. That's right. I keep getting the names wrong. Orimo, and Kashi. It was those two. I think it was especially was Orimo, who is the one giant with the he has got the brown hair, this bowl cut almost. Kashi is darker hair, and they were it was that Orimo especially. I think they showed in the last chapter explaining the about Scopper and his who he is, and he doesn't. He wants to keep that a down low himself. So in this chapter, that's one thing that happens is he doesn't tell. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. He doesn't say who he is to Luffy and the others, and Roto knows too as well. So that was interesting. But he just wants to test them anyway. So that's where we start here. I'll get into this now. Luffy's like, why do we have to fight you? I just want the key. Luffy doesn't recognize like this is a test. I'm a little confused. Like, okay, can't you see what's going on? You think you can just free? He did say like I'll beat up Loki. I think in the last chapter, but he's like, yeah, I'm not worried about this. I want to finish this. So Luffy's like thinking, I want to finish this quest right away, and he gets mad like, how come we have to take the key from you? Please just give it to me. And Roto's like, "What's going on? Please keep me out of." He's like trying to just keep the peace, so to speak. And then Scopper's like, "What's wrong? You don't think you can do it? You can't take it from an old man?" And so Scopper, yeah, like I think I said in the last video, he's holding the key, and when he says that to Luffy, Luffy's getting quite upset. And I think did he say in this one or the last one, like, can you just give it to me? I want to get back to the feast. Oh yeah, he says it there. And Zoro, as Luffy jumps down to face Scopper, Zoro's like, I'm not sure about this. He remembers back to what Colin said, and how he so shows that briefly the panel here, and when he says like, "Oh, my dad was a pirate, and not he was easily able to hold his own with the other warriors of Elbath, even." So Zoro's remembering that obviously because it's like, the Elbath warriors like Dorian Bragi are extremely powerful, even given their size, are probably above and beyond. And he's thinking, okay, well, if this a human, this old man who's a human can hold his own, um, then we should be careful because he might be strong enough to give us trouble, or even maybe defeat us. So where is that now? Wait, I'm on the wrong page. Here we go. So Luffy goes in and he's trying to grab it, Scopper, with the. First he tries to stretch his arm out and do a gum like not pistol. Actually, and one thing here I had to point out when I was reading this, I have to laugh a little bit. I think Luffy needs to work on his jet pistol type and his arm stretching abilities, because I saw this happen when he fought Lucci. Even though he trounced Lucci overall, when it came to those attacks, especially the way they showed it in anime, not one of those attacks, when he just simply did that, and then he had a couple, there was like one, how'd that work? But he had a couple other ones of those punch attacks that Lucci was able to easily dodge. I'm starting to see that's like Luffy's signature attack where he reaches out, or he flies it on back and then goes. But that has become like an attack that's like one he has to really like not what's the word where they can see it coming. He's projecting, not projecting. Oh, there's a word for it where like someone can see it coming, like you're really raising your arm back. So he's having that problem here too with Scoffer, and just like he did with Lucci. I think he even had that problem with Kaido too, even when he got into Gear 5th. And when he was in Gear 5th, when Awakening and fighting Kaido, Lucci, yeah, that's where he still was having problems with that attack. But his other movements are still really good. Was really good against Lucci, and Lucci didn't have a chance against him overall. But I just see this one flaw with Luffy. He's always trying that basic attack, and these other superb people at his level, they're easily blocking, avoiding it almost every time. And anyway, Scopper avoids it easily. You see a little silhouette. So he's got good observation haki and good speed. And so Luffy's like still tries it though. Then he tries to spot a whole bunch of those and they're not really jet pistol. He's just reaching out. You see his hand trying to just grab the key from Scopper. Um, he's also, although he's not trying to even use Gear Second here. So like obviously this is kind of thing too. You see where like, oh, we're gonna go. I'll just test out how much power I have to output to fight someone. So Luffy's still in his base form. He could go to Gear Second and then Fourth and Awaken to really amplify how fast he is. And I feel like he should have done that right away. He's like really underestimating Scopper, I suppose. And he's in a hurry. And he says right here, like, hey, I want to just get the key and figure out what happened with Loki. And I want to go back to the feast before it's over. And Scopper's like, well, you just got to take it from me then. And Luffy tries to grab it again with Stretch. And but then Scopper completely dodges over. He jumps up this time, and he uses the key as a weapon. I love this. He starts hockeying up the key. Wait, where is that? Wait, why did that happen? Oh wait, I skipped. That's why, because I flipped it the other way. And did he hit him there? I can't tell. Oh yeah, he did hit him there. I think he actually smashed him down. It's kind of did he dodge it there? I think he smashed the whole. If he didn't hit Luffy directly, he smashes. Anyways, he's holding the front of the key part that goes into a lock, and he has the other part up. Scopper swings it down and destroys all these boxes, empty chests and stuff where Luffy was. No, they were on that little pedestal, but then all this stuff's destroyed, and Roro's like, guys, really, do we really have to do this? And Nami's like surprised, like, really, Luffy, are you kidding me? How do you lose into an old man? I kind of, oh, I'm kind of internet there. Like, okay, Nami, come on. Obviously, this guy, if he hockeys up a key and uses a weapon, it's not gonna. This guy's good. Uh, and Luffy just second, you see him crash out of the stuff that fell over him, and Scarborough though starts teasing Luffy a little bit to see, and he's successfully getting under Luffy's skin. This is Luffy's other big weakness. He really should try to work on himself not being so um, easily agitated, because Scarborough goes right for the thing that pisses off Luffy on once. Well, two things could have kind of connected: the straw hat and Shanks. And he says, "Oh, that's a nice straw hat you got there, but wouldn't you be better wearing a helmet?" Uh, no wait, I already read that. It looks better on the helmet, I bet. And Luffy immediately is trying to just use his stretching and getting the reaching for Scopper the key again, and Scopper's just dodging all of them. And Luffy's getting upset now, and he looks like he's yelling, like, "Yeah, I did a treasure from Shanks. Of course, I'm gonna wear it and keep it with me." Uh, and he's like, "Yeah, please give me that key." Well, not please. He's yelling, "Give me the key! Come on now!" He's really getting frustrated, and Scopper's really just toying around. And you got a bunch of little artwork like, He's kind of. It looks kind of like what Luffy did when he was fighting against those guards uh in oh no, Udon, right? It was called Udon, where the prison was he was at in Wano. Uh, uh, and he Scopper further enrages Luffy by saying about Shanks, "Oh, you only hold on to it? Why didn't he give it to you? What a cheapskate!" And it's quite for some reason that really annoys Luffy. Like, why? I don't know. I can't think of the like. Okay, don't call him a cheapskate, I guess. And Luffy's like, "Don't call him that. That's not. You know, that's not what he is." And no, he didn't say that. But you know, that's not what it means. And he's like, "You don't know. How would you know anything about him?" And again, Luffy. This is another thing to interject. Luffy, Luffy definitely um should have like doesn't know anything about the other crew. I'm surprised that he didn't know about Rayleigh and Scopper being the two top fighters. Like he always knew all these stories about Roger, but like he never seemed to ask anyone else. Well, who's he? I think Luffy's kind of those characters that's thinking it's almost like he sees Roger as a superhero. Same with Shanks, and it's like, well, they don't always work by themselves. This isn't like Spider-Man where I'm by myself doing all this stuff. I have to have a team with me. And Luffy is kind of absent-minded, not really the right word for of that kind of stuff, and he never learned anything about Roger's crew as a kid when he, was so inspired and spent all his years from when he was little with Ace and Sabo up until he left, learning about any of the other crew members, and so he doesn't know who this guy is. He's not even guessing that. I well, I'm assuming he doesn't know who Scopper is, but obviously he wouldn't recognize Scopper because he looks much older. And I don't even know. It's like even as Luffy obviously also just when he learned about Roger, that was like 10 years after Roger died. So there's not like there'll be recent pictures in the paper from the time he was when he was a kid to see Scopper or Rayleigh there. But he still surprises me he didn't really ask about the other crew members. Like I'm pretty sure that was the same way with Rayleigh. Oh, like you're Rogers. Like does he know the names? I'm assuming he doesn't. Maybe I'm wrong in that part. But anyways, he yeah, you know how he is. He doesn't know. He doesn't gather much intel on what he needs to often. Like we learned about with Sabaody when he didn't know about his read the papers and learn about these other rookies that had all arrived there. So, but Luffy's anger gets the better of him, and Scopper actually lands on another attack on him this time, and he said like, "Oh, you like to talk a lot, don't you, boy?" And he takes the key, and then Luffy comes at. I don't know if he jumps toward Luffy. We'll have to see this better in the anime. Either he leapt at Luffy or Luffy came toward him. He takes the front of the key and ends up jabbing it right into Luffy's mouth, probably hockeyed up, um oh yeah, let's see here. Make sure I got the right pages here. I got 2 pages here. So not when he lets go of the key and it looks like he threw it. Maybe he threw it right at Luffy yeah. It looks like he might have actually thrown it at Luffy because it throws him back into another wall or something and rocks crumble. And then in the next panel, they quickly. This is one of those things where they're like Oda's drawn it faster, and like they'll probably flesh some of this out. In the next panel, we see Zoro looking at Scopper, and he's pulled out his dual axes. The ones we saw these in Odin's flashback when he fought with. He was actually dueling Odin. I forgot about that until I was watching after the last chapter. I remember the part where him and Rayleigh were standing out there in the forest when Odin was coming toward them, and Roger took a head point and I wanted to fight Odin. But then I realized watching other reviews that later in that, it was probably the next episode actually though, but Scopper and Odin were shown together fighting on the beach, each him wielding Scopper with his axes and Odin's with his Enma and Ame. I forgot the rest of the name of his sword. Sorry, the one that Momo has. And so he pulls them out. He's like flinging around like very fancy. You can tell he's practiced with these. And he calls out an attack called Yaso Takiru. And I think Luffy actually detects it with his observation. But Zoro too is like detecting sees how dangerous it looks, and he yells to Luffy like, "Look out!" And then we get part of the big part of this double page spread where I think is he slashing his axe multiple times? It looks like. No, it did it one time. Oh, there's Zoro. So he did some kind of probably like a hockey blast maybe. Although it looked, I don't know what colors will make it in the anime. Yeah, Zoro jumps in just in time. Luffy leapt up unless Zoro knocked him away, but Luffy, because Zoro's got a sword, and I get it, because Luffy is rubber, and he didn't have his hockey ready to perhaps block this. Zoro comes in so that Luffy don't get hurt because these are cutting attacks, and he brings out he has all three of his katanas ready and blocks the attack. Wait, let me go to the next page. And attack is so. Oh yeah, it was definitely a hockey blast. Because in the next panel, we switch to the outside of the castle, looking at it from slightly from the front, and you see this energy just blast away. It could have been like an air flow essentially, but and then we see Zoro like he looks like he's stressing, like sweating from blocking an attack, and Scopper just has this big grin on his face. He's like, "Oh, he's got a real good crew there." Seeing Nami and Roto, we get reactions like, "Holy shit! What the hell kind of blast was that?" Yeah. And then in the next panel, though, so now Luffy's getting very upset or serious, and we see a quick panel where he jumped into his awakening, and Zoro's alongside him, and they're both ready to fight. And Scopper's like, "Oh, he is all in white," just as the rumors showed, or maybe he's like meaning, "Oh, I'm thinking of rumors." He probably saw the wanted poster, and he's probably immediately thinking about the legends he's been hearing here from the other giants about the sun god. So where is this next panel having? So the next panel. Wait, what is this? Hold on a sec. I gotta check something. There's something weird about that. Hold on. Hold on. Why does that happen? Wait a minute. What happens there? I'm confused because Oda jumps ahead. I think in here they must have like did an attack. Their own attack. Luffy and Zoro, because we just go to this panel where the whole castle tower here like crumbles down. Uh, and Yeah, maybe they tried to smash him with some combined attack, but they didn't get him. Because then we see him there standing again, and then Zoro and Luffy are coming at him, and like, you're gonna get it now. And this at this point, Scopper's like says, "I yield," and just stops the fight before it gets serious, probably so that neither one of them or himself get hurt. Uh, and Zen's this makes Zoro very upset. Like, why are you playing games with us, old man? Uh, and he's like, "Oh, guys, calm down. Don't get bent out of shape." And he starts laughing. And then Luffy too is like, "What you tried to kill us, and now you're just gonna pass this off? And after you try to kill us?" And Scopper's like, "Well, you're not dead, are you?" Uh, um, and then Scopper's like, "Well, the key's yours now," and he just leaves it. It's next to Luffy in the next panel. Um, And so then Roto steps up like and to tell the others like, "Luffy, do you know who this man is? He's the and but what do you call it? Scopper stops him like, don't say anything, Scott Roto." Um, and he just walks over. And also, he threw off his cloak. I don't remember. I probably said in the last chapter, but he had a cloak on, and he was not underneath. He's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, and he had a hat too. And he's like, he goes over and picks those two items up, and he says, "If Elbath is still intact by the time you leave, come and see me again." And just and then one of them yells, "Is that Zoro?" One of them's like, "Why would we ever do that? Why would we want to see you again?" And the other's like, "Yeah, you idiot, but thanks for giving us the key." Um, and last thing we see is Scopper walks away. He's still smiling because you can tell what he happened here is once he saw them get serious, he realized, okay, I think I can trust the key into their possession. They have grown quite strong. And the last thing he does is he's thinking to a point here where Shanks had visited. I think this must have been when he was here last, Shanks, just before he left to face Kid. And Shanks was telling Scopper that Luffy was gonna come there, and so Scopper's just like, "Well, Shanks, what makes you think I would easily trust this guy just on your word?" And so Shanks must have been saying like, "This guy." Maybe he was trying to say, "Well, if something goes on with Loki, I know he could help you," or something with. I'm not sure exactly. I'm trying to think what exactly uh, Shanks would be telling trying to inform Scopper, but it's clear Scopper saying, "Well, I'm gonna have to test it myself a little bit, figure out if he's worth see if your words are true." And Shanks said in this conversation, "Yeah, okay, I'll trust you to do what you need to, Scopper." Like probably just saying like, but probably implying too though, please don't kill him. I know you might be still better than him. I at this point still don't think Luffy could take on Shanks or even Scopper and really win. I don't know what kind of power up he could really get other than like him getting taking Chopper's medical those rumble balls, but that's the end of that part for this chapter. Now we switch over back to uh the Goro state, no, the night God's night, Gunko and Shamrock, but first we go over to the school, the Walrus School, and what's her name? Angie, I think her name was. She's Saul's assistant. She's there with some students, but some of the students like run over and say, "Look, Angie, there's something weird bird up there. What is that?" And she looks up, and we see the Gunko and oh hey Waller, Gunko and Shanks and land on this plot of land on a tree branch. It looks like it's just above where the school is. Um, and one of them says like, "Oh, they even have a school here because they want to like apprehend some of these kids and use them as some kind of leverage." And the other one says, "Oh yes, that's perfect. They served them up on a platter." And so they land there, and then Gunko starts getting a summoning circle out, and they summon two other people, and now we're introduced to two more of the Gods Knights. So yeah, to stop there a second, Also, Gunko doesn't seem like to draw anything. She puts her hand out. She has it lower, and then she must be, maybe she says some kind of incantation or something, and then the circle comes out, and it's like the ones we saw them you comment earlier, and how we saw the uh Gorosei used when they arrived at Egghead, and so and then lightning strikes down too, and then a shadowy. It's like a shadowy lightning. Again, we're getting like this dark lightning. I wonder, did they show some of this? I think they showed some of this when Sabo faced off against the Gorosei, and it reminds me of like something that's probably like an alternate, like darker energy, like to hockey or something, and so and it's like a shadowy thing, and whereas I always think of Luffy when he turned into his awakening, he has a white thing around his neck. Also, what's his name? That's right. Stop that, Wilder, please. Uh, Lucci. Lucci has that dark thing around it. His is dark instead. It almost I wonder if like something could be more with their disposition. They're evil or good, and they could be. This definitely has some darkness type thing going around there. So, stop it. Oh, you gotta stop it. We see two silhouettes at first, and one's like, "Okay, fine, we'll be leaving soon. Give me a minute." And the other one's like, "Wait, where are we leaving from?" Why did he say that? The abyss. They bring up something here about something called the abyss, which I wonder if that's like the channels, the network they kind of use to travel. But so what's going on here? I think I was a little confused by this. But I think's happening here though is that these guys were getting. I'm wondering if Gunko. Wait, you gotta stop that. You're whacking my keyboard. I can't do that. I don't want to hit stop on the video while I'm recording. These two guys are like both. Just kind of this funny moment where like they were trying to get ready to come, especially this one on the right we see. He's not dressed up. He was like probably at home. It looks like his chair came with him too. He was lounging in like an armchair, and he was consulting or talking with something about coming here and stuff going on at the thing. And he's like, uh, and I thought I was trying to figure out if that meant he was like talking to Gunko and Shamrock from a little bit ago, like if there's a time lapse, but or if someone else they sent a message. Did they send like a message maybe? Um, and he's like, can we have an hour to get ready? So we get this first guy. He's an old man with glasses and long hair. Actually, according to this title card, he looks like he's related to the youngest Gorosei member, the Shepherd. Shoot, I had his name here. Where'd it go? Shepherd family. Give me a sec. I had it here. Drew Peter, right? Peter, the one named Peter. This seems to be someone who's related to him, so this could be like his uncle or some father, which is funny because we were. Who was it? Oh yeah, Tekking was always calling before we got the Gorosei's names. He was always saying that Peter looked like he would be Sanji's uncle, but this guy could be like his uncle, and so he see him. He's probably rather long limbed, tall and like lanky, and we see him though he's got like his probably his knight's overcoat on, but he's just wearing boxers and a tank top in his lounge in a lounge chair. Um, and then so he's talking to somebody with a little denden mushi, and he's like also saying, what are we gonna do about that other situation with we can't be allowing the other uh the gods, the celestial dragons starve. What are we gonna do about that situation? That almost sounds to me like maybe he was talking to Garling. Uh, uh, yeah, Garling's his first name. Figureland, Shamrock's dad. Um, and then so he's like there, like, yeah, can we have some time to get ready? Also, it looks like some other stuff came with him. His chest, I see a chest with outfits in it, in there. His change of clothes, and his name is Saint Summers. And then we get the second one, and this one confused me for a while. I had to look it up. I'm glad I waited to not read it right away because I was thinking, what kind of race is this guy from? But this looks like this guy's in a hybrid animals form, and he comes out, and this guy's very like like a silly character where he's like he doesn't. He seems like he gets lost. He's like, I'm very late. I wasn't half asleep. Where am I supposed to go? He looks all jittery like. But this guy's in a weird outfit too. He's in his God's Night outfit already, and he looks like he's some kind of dragon-esque zone thing. And because he's got a really long neck, he's in like a hybrid form. But this time he's got, unlike Kaido, he's got a long neck, and he's still wearing the kind of one of those air tank things that like the other celestial dragons do when they go down to the regular route. They leave Marijua and they don't want to breathe the same air as us. So we can see his face except for his mouth fully. He's got all this flowing hair, his really long neck, like I said. And this guy's name is Killingham from something called the Remo Shifu family. And I looked it up. I think he's the first one of this family we've seen in this and from this as part of the Celestial Dragons. And so we get this moment. Gunko's looking at him, and Summers says, "Wait a minute, Gunko, that you? What are you doing in my house? How'd you get here? Oh, you got Shamrock with you." And then the two of them like realize, what? We're in Elbath. It's just like they weren't even informed properly. So yeah, I think someone else must have been trying to tell them, and so she must have communicated to someone else. Gunko did, I think, and then she talked to whoever, and that person went and got Summers, and Killingham told them, but then they came and Gunko pulled them right away. And also, there's some look here where there's like a bit of body language with Gunko where I don't think she likes these two because she kind of like looks away from them after she's summoned them. Although at the same time, Summers is getting dressed. Maybe she just doesn't want us to look at him in his undies. And we get this next panel, and Summers like, "What the hell? Why do you guys pull my whole room, including my sofa? What is this?" And then Killingham's just standing there. By the way, Killingham's got a weapon with him already, and he's got this trident-like thing with him. And he just kind of looks around like, so this is the land of the giants. And we can see he's extremely tall in his hybrid form. Like we see Shamrock nearby, and he just comes up to Killingham's waist. And Summers looks pretty tall himself. He's also taller than Shamrock. Oh, okay. So they weren't both supposed to come. Shamrock, I forgot about that. Shamrock says, we only need one of you. Why are you both here? And then it's Killingham says, well, that's because you have to go back, Commander. Orders from above. And Shamrock's like, wait, what? And then Summers says, yeah, the situation in the whole land is rather dire. It's all gone wrong ever since Reverie. They need you back there, Shamrock. And then Summers goes on, okay, so what's the situation? What are we doing in a country like this that's unaffiliated with the government? Are you paying a visit to Harold's grave? Okay. Wait a minute. Is that what he said earlier? Come on. I got another kitty here. Come on, Victoria. I got my little gray. She's my little gray kitty. Let's see here. Is that what they said here? Let me check. Let's see. They had it right here. Oh yeah, I did say which one. In 1138, they said we only need one more. Okay. So yeah, two of them get summoned. Someone else made sure Gunko, when she did it, would get one more of them come with them. And 1 second here. I got this pulled up. Oh no, I want this one. Come on, you. Yeah. Okay, so I was just checking. This felt like it ended quickly. But anyways, so now we get in the last page here, we get to see Summers in his outfit. He's got this very elaborate dressed up outfit. It looks like a thing you'd wear more to a party. It's very dark. It's very similar to the other twos. Wait, no, where was Shamrock? Did we see Shamrock was wearing something like that? Gunko's was simpler with a a pocket with just buttons. Shamrock, yeah, looks like more like a dress uniform. He's got a lot of like set these golden things, strings across, and he's got this looked like an elaborate military outfit from like probably like the 19th century, and that's what this kind of looks like, including the big overcoat with the stringy things, and he's also wielding a sword. This one's interesting though. It looks a little bit like what Shanks or Shamrock would wield, but the guard has these thorns coming out that goes around, and he also wears these very high boots. Uh, Wait a minute now. So this bit is confusing. Okay, so then Summer says, "Okay, I got it. You want us to take some of these kids and take them back to the Holy Land for leverage." Uh, so the ending here is like Summer says, "Well, okay, they're too big to just throw into sacks since they're giants. But what are we gonna do too once we capture them? We can't without the mark. We can't just travel through the abyss pentagrams." He's like, I guess we're just gonna have to sail them back to the Holy Land. And this gets Gunko very mad. She's like, "Why you? You and your with your powers, you could." And then Shamrock ends this conversation by cutting in and saying, "You can make it into a game," and then it just ends right there. And so that's the end of the chapter. So that unless we're implying that there's some other power that what's his name? Yeah, Summers, the old man, one of this pair. Where is it? Yeah, Summers has some kind of power where he should be able to take them back easily. So what could that be then? Could it be we have Van Auger on Blackbeard's crew? He's he's got the teleport fruit. So I'm not sure if like that means he obviously Oda's has introduced some characters that have similar fruits with different like a tier list with there's Miss Valentine, and then there's the other guy from Dressrosa, and one has the ton, one has the kilo, whatever. They both can adjust their weight, and then you got like weather ones that the Loki has. You got like Ace, now Sabo has it, and then Kainu. I should do it in reverse that, and then tier, and you had Monet and Aokiji with snow and ice respectively. I'm wondering if this is implying that Summers has something akin to a teleportation power that where he can take others back, because he clearly says no, that's actually Killingham that says that, not him. Also, by the way, I didn't know if Killingham starts dozing off. I saw that somewhere, like he's a narcoleptic. Is that the right term? Like that's what we saw that Ace and Garp and Luffy would do sometimes. Although I don't think they've used that gag. I don't think they've used that gag with Luffy since that time when we first introduced Garp in the manga. It looks like Oda's decided to add that again, where we see Killingham doing that. So wait, is that implying? So it was in Gunko implying that Killingham has that power? Because I was just thinking he's a zone. Well, zones can have other powers, like we saw. Like Luffy's a zone, but he's also a rubber man. Uh, I don't know. I guess Shamrock's trying to like say, hey, let's make this a little fun for us. This is probably something they always do. I can see where that's going. It reminds me of the Ginyu Force in Dragon Ball Z, where they wanted to decide who gets to fight the Gohan, Krillin, and the others, and when Vegeta and Goku eventually came, and they're like, okay, you get that person, I get that one. And then Rikun was kind of getting greedy in that way and say, no, I want to fight all of them. I'm really bored, because he was like probably the toughest one other than Ginyu. And I think Ginyu was still with Frieza at the time. So he didn't have any part of this conversation. Anyways, it looks like, yeah, there's something here where they're going to make it into a game. So, what else is over here? Yeah, the Abyss thing. I wonder if that's some kind of what do we call it, like a realm of darkness thing that they're using to transport uh, back and forth. They can traverse. That allows them to. I've seen that. I think I've seen that in other stories too, where like there'll be like some realm like that, but you really like see it. Rarely see it, but it's like a place where teleportation esque things can allow ooh, instantaneous travel. Also, that'd be like the Flu Network in Harry Potter. They would have that powder, but you'd have to have your a fireplace connected to that network, and then you throw the powder in and you state where you want to go. So you have to know where you want to go. I don't know, and I'm sure that was something I don't know if they ever addressed in the story, but I feel like you couldn't just go to anyone else's residence if they would maybe use a spell or something to say then block access so no one could just come in and rob you or kill you. Uh, like there was something like that. What was that? And there was ways to spy on that network in there because there was like that time where Harry talks to Sirius in the fourth. No, he does it in the fourth book and the fifth book. And in the fifth book, Umbridge is there, and she could see the communication happening, though she couldn't confirm it was Sirius, fortunately. And so there was stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, there's usually some kind of the abyss seems to be some kind of name of some network thing, the infrastructure of a network that they're able to use with these pentagrams they bring up again here that allow them to but they have to have a mark. Oh, that by the way, with that mark too, when they show Summers when he first got summoned, I wonder if the mark refers to these tattoos on his left arm from his shoulder down to his forearm. He's got dark marks on there, and it looks kind of like one looks like a summoning circle thing. It's like that's supposed to be the 4 stars. No, it's not the celestial dragon. That's like a dragon thing with 3 fingers. It It's something like that. It's a circle. It looks like flames on it. Then there's like a 4-star thing. It reminds me more of a compass. You can't quite make out. I can't. Kid, his arms bent up, and he was holding the Denda and Mushy. I can't quite make out the what the rest of the tattoo looks like on his bicep there. But I'm thinking that is what they're talking about. That allows them to access this abyss network for quick traversal wherever they want. Um, and so we don't see that in Killingham. And I don't think we saw anything like that in Shamrock or Gunko too. We can see Gunko's thighs because she has that kind of skirt thing going on, but then she has those tight things that go up past her knees. But that's the only skin we can see on her other than her face. Yeah, Shamrock's all closed up. Was Shamrock wearing a pants? Well, Gunko has those weird colored eyes. I wonder if that has anything to do with that. Let me go back to when we saw Shamrock earlier. Did I show that? No, he's wearing pants, and all you can see, is his face. So I don't know. I'm just guessing that those marks are likely related to the ability to traversal through that network. And so he says like I said, they're gonna have to. There's something about his power. One of them has a power that should let them take the kids back easily because as an alternative to using this abyss network. Um, Another thing interesting too is I noticed on, oh yeah, they all have that. I didn't see that in Shamrock, but I noticed with Killingham and Summers on their left, they got, or did they show that before? They have like a band over their sleeve when they put their coats on, and that probably is representing the God's Knights logo. It looked kind of. At first, I was thinking about uh, the uh, the bad German one. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, so I'm not gonna. It reminded me of that a little bit, but it also looks like a face with like a. It looks more like a face with a T. I'm not sure what that is. I can see that clearly there with more with Killingham's outfit there, and you can see Summers is wearing one too. By the way, the hat. The one thing that's thing to with this clothing tangent, or two things. One, Summers I noticed has a rose on his left side here, and once he dresses up, he's wearing. Is he wearing sunglasses now? He looks like he's wearing those round sunglasses, kind of like what we just saw with like Scopper wears too, instead of his regular glasses when he first got summoned. And last, I noticed like the apparel, Gunko wearing that hat is probably just something optional she wears because no one else here has a hat. The only other thing was that, like I said, uh, Killingham is wearing a mask, which looks like he's doing that to, yeah. You can honestly see a tank on it, but in this wide shot, you can see it around his head, and it looks like it's got like respirators or probably filters there. I just don't. I'm wondering how that's probably just the filters then. He's not wearing like a tank like we saw Charlos and the others wear when they were at the auction house in Sabaody. But so he seems to take that. It looks like the others don't find it as much unappealing or worry as much to not wear anything like that when they're in not in Marijua and they're in this how do they phrase it, like the lower realm. Um, so anyway, also Shamrock's gonna go back. Unfortunately, then that probably kind of looks like Luffy might not end up seeing Shamrock anymore in this arc, and they'll have to face these other three. And yeah, so I'm wondering if that means Shamrock's being summoned back to help. Well, are they gonna fight anyone? Cause did they? Is this supposed to be after the God's Night? I mean, Sabo and the others fled. They freed the slaves. Then the other revolutionary captains freed some slaves. They burned the flag. They destroyed. Yeah, this has to be after because Summers mentions what are we gonna do about the food supply. So I'm just wondering what they want Shamrock back for. Uh, Probably is he? Did they call him the captain here? Wait, they call him commander. So this has to be after he knows his dad Garling has been appointed to a Gorosei, and they came here mentioning they were going to look for someone else to replace the Gods Knights. They wanted the vacancy. They wanted Loki. So trying to just ponder what that could mean. Anyways, uh, this will be now. We're gonna probably I don't know. Now we're gonna have different issue now with the Straw Hats. Luffy and Loki, and Luffy, Nami, and Zoro and Zoro are probably gonna meet Loki in the next chapter or two. Meanwhile, we're gonna have these kids that are gonna probably get kidnapped, and the other Straw Hats are nearby. So I wonder if they'll be the first to meet the Gods Knights that are here: Gunko, Killingham, and Summers. And what part will Scopper playing too? Because he's here now. Also, this happened right after they were fought. So Scopper, I wonder if he'll go investigate this spot that where they are near the school, because he came to the castle because he sensed Gunko and Shamrock's arrival. Anyways, yeah, there's so much happening here. This was a really good chapter, though. I'm really glad to see Scopper's like a bit of Scopper's ability. I really like Scopper. I think he might be my favorite of the Roger crew we met. Like Roger was cool, but there's something about Scopper I like, where he's got that grin on his face. He always looks like he's ready to have fun. It does make him a lot like Roger in a way. And that was funny because he mentioned it showed a little flashback in one of the other last two chapters where he was scolding Roger once in the flashback, like it's too dangerous. You can't just do all this stuff. But now it's like I wonder if ever since Roger passed away, Scopper's like, well, you know what? I shouldn't have been too harsh on Roger. I should try to laid back, be a little more laid back now. So you can tell he's a little impressed by Luffy, so that was cool. So yeah, that's it. Who knows who's gonna fight who next? And I think the next chapter will be out this weekend. It probably could come out tonight or tomorrow. I'll probably wait on that one. I'll probably wait for the official one because my voice here is already kind of breaking up again, and I still have to make now a thumbnail for this one. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.